with MC Sachi, an independent, about 1,800 employees, integrated marketing with Pablo and Suresh Raj. Just a lot of good things, what they're looking to do. They're trying to increase sales velocity. They're trying to process their pitch. They're looking for a human connection in what they do. And um, so everything that they're asking for is something that we can deliver. Next steps is meeting their director of digital, because the person we met is in charge of growth, creating this new process. And he asked very specifically, would you guys fit into this process? And, the answer is obviously yes. Um, Pricing framework is coming, looking for either business or API. They might go into price tier, but I'm not sure yet. Um, and Yeah, I'm going to send out some follow up and get all the collateral they're looking for, and then we're going to get into another meeting and move this thing forward. So that was really exciting because he got it right away. Um, I have a GAG on Wednesday, which is supermarkets, convenience stores, and hotels. So they own lots of consumer-facing businesses. Um, Carney, AT Carney, used to be AT Carney. It's a management consultant. They have rescheduled to later in the week. Not a big deal. Um, I'm waiting. Oh, Air Canada and I are now playing phone tag, so they're back in the loop. So Air Canada's waiting for Petromin to get back to me from India to confirm when our next meeting is. Uh, Habit Burger and Grill, which is part of Yum, is confirmed for October. Waiting for Union Co-op, the largest supermarket chain in the Middle East, to get back to me. Some dates have been sent to them. And Pillar's Investment, they just are a bunch of restaurants. They're doing their own small sample survey, then giving us the data. We're just about at the 30-day mark. So my next step is to reach out and continue the process to sort of validate the system, upload their data, get them some pricing, insights. Um, and I have multiple clients. They're not really clients, I guess leads, product, whatever you want to call it, in play on all over the place. I will continue to be focused a bit more on the States than the Middle East. And just because of the time difference, it's really getting difficult to get these meetings. And again, I'm going where the signals are. I think things are opening up and we're getting more activity. At least I'm getting more activity on my emails. My LinkedIn is growing exponentially. I have over 150 CMOs from major companies that are now connected into my, so maybe at some point we can leverage our marketing and really get these people the information we're looking for. So I just wanted to say is that I am looking forward to more salespeople. So I know Avi is right there. There's a guy coming on. He's got a book of business. Would love that. Just love the collaborative. See how somebody else performs here. What I can learn, what he can learn. It's just the more the merrier. So that's uh, that's what I got. Anyway, thanks everyone.
Nice job, Eric. How did you get all connected to all the CMOs? Is that from your previous life or is that new?
No, that's all here. I mean, I had a few, but no, it's all uh, you know very specific curated search contacts. You know, I've
Nice.
always been very good at top of the funnel.
Then it's
I'm
our
more than
job
happy
to
to.
help the bottom of the funnel.
Well,
Pablo put together some sort of metric for me the other day. I should know this number, but it was like the conversion rate from demos to paid customers, and it seemed quite reasonable. Now I forget what it is, so never mind.
No, I'd love to see that. Whatever the number is, I'm still going to be on the hunt on the drive, Um, I think sometimes, I mean, I don't know if Pablo would agree with this, but we are getting better in our pitches. I mean, I just feel it. I mean, it's just, we're tighter, we're more relevant, our questions are getting better. And there's no way to shortcut that, right? It's like there's no placement for time on task, meaning to spend the hours. We needed to go through, as I look back, Pfizer was one of our first big clients, and then Millipore, and then we got some of the investment banks to identify our ICP. But again, we didn't know we didn't know. So I'm excited about the projections and the feedback I get from people because that's what fuels me. Thanks, everyone.
Nice job.
Thanks, Eric. Uh, One last question, Eric, to you. You mentioned last time that Saudi Airlines is dead. It's dead because we then stopped replying to us or to you.
Oh, so speculation. Now we all know. So a couple of things, and that's a good question, right? I rack my brain over this because I'm driving these things, right? So no communication from a client is a communication. They're telling us we're not interested. Okay, so that's fair enough. I get that. Why they're not interested? What did we do? How is up for speculation? My guess is I overpriced them, right? I went on ChatGPT, right? Because we didn't have a price structure. It was like, here's the job, here's the price, and I went into chat and I said, if Bain or McKinsey or right was going to do this same process, what would the cost be? So I ran it by, looked it up, cross-referenced, and then sort of approximated like, okay, I'm going to lower our price significantly, which came to $135,000. That's like a home run, right? We're going to deliver. I sent out the proposal. I never heard back. Two things might have happened. And again, more than happy to take accountability. My sort of desire to get them a number so that we can put numbers up on the board might have been premature. He might not have had enough value or information. I think hindsight, it might have needed another meeting with the team before I sent a proposal. Again, I'm guessing. Or I sent the proposal and he looked at 135 and thought, no, I don't care if there's no value here. I don't know. Um, it's frustrating, but that won't happen again because I'm going to make sure things are more clearer, buttoned up, communicated. Disappointing, certainly. It's taken some wind out of my sails, but that's just the way things are.
I mean, but they did kind of went silent after the second meeting we had with the guy who was actually in charge of storing the data, right? And then there were two people from their side who were actually maintaining the data came on the call. I
And the
thought that went
variables,
well. Yeah, I would thought
yes.
that went well, but after that meeting, they kind of went silent and yeah.
I mean, the only sort of thought behind that, and you're absolutely, when you bring in other personalities, variables, your chances of going down, you lose control, right? Because now you have influencers involved that you need to sort of, appease. Because our original CMO was like all on board, right? That first meeting, he
Mm.
finished our sentences. So two things. One is Wasserman, who's an integrated marketing, controls the CSM, controls the data. We might have been doing their job. They even though they brought in them as a consultant, they might have been the company that was going to lose out if we got the 50,000 bits of data. And so it might have been against their best interest to be like, okay, let's just go through the meeting. And when Saudi comes back to us, say, subconscious is this, this, this. We don't see the value. We're recommending you don't move forward. As I did some research on Wasserman, and they do a similar because they control the data. They have a similar value. So
One thing that used to work a lot, I don't want to say a lot. One trick that we, not trick, but one value that we used to offer companies when I was consulting was we were really adamant about letting the customer own their data. We would always say, your data, your insights. Even at Two Sigma, we would do this with $600 million partnerships. We would say, look, you bring us your data, we'll do the analytics, but you keep the insights, you keep the data, you keep your customers. That seemed to work really well. And anytime you get in like 6, 7, 8 figures, then anytime you need like legal involved, like that's going to be an issue. Everything we have is open source, and so that could be a big differentiator because a lot of these a lot of the competitors don't like to let the customers own their insights. But that's good.
No, that's not the case, Avi, because we did say that they will transfer the data through S3 or whatever, and it will be them only who can use that data to run experiment, and it will be their private that they see in terms of results. So there was nothing like anything will go public.
I don't mean public, but I mean ownership. In both cases, it's private.
I mean, that's a
maybe,
good point, Avi,
maybe that's
is
not the issue.
well, what my takeaway of what you're saying is I could communicate that message that it's your data, your control. Maybe emphasize that to the outside source to let them know that we're not coming in here in a roundabout way. We're not coming in here to control your client. We just want to be able to perform these experiments. But it's your data and it's your information. Um, but what's interesting in doing this for 25 years, I have seen clients come back after we've stepped away, where it had nothing to do with us at all. It was internal. It was, his plate's full. I mean, there were so many variables. So I've seen this, but anyway, it's hard to know and it's frustrating. I want to know. I want a resolution in that regard. I want to know if we culturally insulted him. If because we are dealing with other countries. I can make a joke. I mean, Sabot did a good job, but I think he insults people.
No, I think we didn't do anything funky.
No, I don't. I'm totally kidding around. That's
All
what
right,
I.
thanks, Eric. Michelle.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. So this week I am juggling fulfilling research services. That's kind of a big thing on my plate for the credit union. I've got several studies going on. I'm also trying to, harness subconscious within that, in that scenario as well for the credit union. So it's been difficult to squeeze in marketing and sales, but I'm doing that as much as I can. I've got a follow-up sales call this afternoon, so I'm hoping that will go well. We'll keep you all posted. I've got another one next week, so we'll see how that goes. And as far as marketing goes, I'm still working on the webinar. I've got ideas for lead magnets and one in mind that I need to just get developed. That'll be helpful for use for sending out to, people just as like a touch base. To try to get them into our funnel, like as far as like the email list, get them on the list, get them warmed up for future contact and future sales. Working on case studies as well. I'm really focused in now on the credit union case study and really going to try to develop that one out and see if I can't get something finished as soon as possible on that. And let's see, I worked on the website copy over the weekend. And Eric, I've got some messages in there, in the chat for you to kind of consider. I think one of the things that I'm wondering about the website copy as a question for you, Avi, is this particular website that you have the template for, whatever, if it's a template, can you add other pages to it, or is it really just kind of a one-page template?
I can.
You can? Okay. So that might, that will help direct, what I recommend for it. But I've got some good header copy developed for that. So I'll put that in the marketing channel for you guys to take a look at, and at least just get the top of it together. I think that a lot of work could be done on the website to really just like kind of simplify the wording a little bit and make it resonate better with marketers. And so, but that's a lot of work. So, but I've got the top part of it good. And I think at least if we have a really strong like header and like the top portion of it, the hero section, where a marketer lands on it, they read that, it immediately resonates with them. That'll be a big step forward to do that. So I'll share that with y'all today. So one question that I have is about the academic community, and I'm wondering like how much Subconscious needs to appeal to the academic community versus marketing. Like, can we really tailor the website more towards marketers, or do we really need to have like a strong focus on the academic community and kind of like making them, appealing to them, I guess is the question. So that's a question for y'all. How much do we need to appeal to the academic community, or is it really, should we really like appeal mostly to the marketers? Where is that's where the money is, the sales, right? The revenue. Yeah. Okay. I'm seeing a head. I'm seeing a head shake, so I'll go with that. Okay, then any future recommendations for the website, I'll focus mostly on, where the revenue is, which is the marketing and strategy people at the companies. So, okay, cool. Just a couple quick blocker questions. Subodh, maybe you could be the one that answers this, but I wanted to just confirm, like, since as I'm using the platform more, things are coming up where there's like different results with experiments that I run. So I'm kind of wondering, like, does the prompt influence the AI agents, like the respondents, at all, or it doesn't really influence them? Like, which ones are selected?
My guess is if the initial question that you type, right, if it's a very short, like, I don't know, one-line sentence, then things may not change much. But if you write like 4 or 5 line long sentence, then there could be some things that LLMs pick, hard to tell, and that may affect little bit how they respond, like, or pick options, which in turn may affect little bit of answers.
Okay, yeah, because that's what I was picking up, that might be the case, but initially I didn't think that was. So I'll have to think about how that's impacting the experiments that I'm running. And I guess likewise, when you select the on the place where you select like the different characteristics or whatever that you want to analyze later or synthesize later, does that impact which agents are selected at all?
It could be a little bit again. So let's say the basic demographics, that those are whatever you choose, right? Like, and let's say you do the 2 runs and it's the same demographics that you choose, run 1, run 2. But then maybe the other 2 or 3 traits that are non-demographic you choose differently. Then we basically try to predict them as a function of demographics. So maybe in one run, they are much more accurately predicted based on LLM's data they have seen. So that may affect the little bit of description of the persona in natural language, which in turn can affect how they make choices during discrete choice experiment.
Okay, so that's in the demographic section. I apologize if I couldn't understand exactly everything that you just said, but I think you're talking about the demographic section, or are you talking about the
trait section?
the what? The trait section?
So the both are kind of interlinked, right? So demographics are fixed, right? Like if you say 25 to 35, it's the same individual in, let's say, run one versus run two. But if you change some other traits which are not part of demographics, which we don't have in survey, and we try to predict them. Now, in maybe you had one trait which is bit easy to predict given other information, whereas the other could be very difficult to predict, right? So then could be a bit of noise, and that will in turn affect how the overall persona is described of the individual, like the personality.
Okay.
So then that could change. Now there is one thing we could do to make everything really to the dot repeatable, is that there are so many things which we use in the back end. So it's like there are some seeds which are used to sample population if you have more people than what you need, right? So if we give all that options and people check all those boxes, then it's the same thing that will be used. So then that will ensure that at least from our side, there is no variation introduced. Whatever's there, that is purely coming from the LLM side.
Okay.
Because we also initially we used to do set LLM's temperatures to 0. What it basically means, if you ask the same question 10 times, it will give you exactly the same answer 10 times, let's say in a discrete choice. But now we set the temperature to 0.7, and that basically introduces bit of variation. So it can happen that out of 10 times, it chooses one option 5 times, but then the other 5 times it chooses something else because there's a bit of variation introduced.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I think
there,
the
yeah.
variation. Yeah.
So that's what I
Yeah, the
was saying. Like,
variation is troublesome for
uh,
me.
so we can give all these as a parameters in the page in the end where you say, okay, temperature, I want to be keep it to 0 or whatever, 0.7 or 1, we give what it means, and some other different seed variables which are used to draw population sample from the populations. And then these things will ensure that it's the exactly same thing, experiment after experiment.
Yeah, I think the closer to the sameness that they can be, the better for me.
Okay.
Just because I'm like running experiments, like, so I run like a set of like, say, slogans for an ad campaign. I run that, and then, but we want to change a slogan or two or add a couple different dynamics. So we maybe change a few things up. We run it again, and it gives like different results. So that's a little, like trying to get my head around that and figure out how to grapple with that. So I
But
think
but in that case, do you have exactly the same attributes and you only change one or two labels of it?
trying to, yeah. Well, I say the demographics, keeping those the same for sure, but not the.
I'm gonna stop this conversation. We're halfway through stand up and we've been through two people. Michelle, if you want some time with Subodh, maybe
Sorry.
schedule some time with the one on one.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I didn't mean to get into that in so much depth. So yeah, we'll do. All right, so that's all that I've got for today. Just trying to get through blockers like that, using the product. So
Righty. Thanks, Michelle. Then we move on to Pablo.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Met with Sachi last week. I sent you all the assets, Eric. So feel free to just share the draft of the response and next steps. I was thinking too, one of the things that we can do, since he is the head of growth for this agency, is that we can also bring one of our board members to the conversation. She used to be an executive vice president at Gartner, and she focused on the growth team practice. She was a consultant in that space, so it could be helpful. Not sure if that's gonna stick or of interest for him, but something that we can add on top. So yeah, I I think that would be a good idea. Eh, So, Bode, it'd be great if we can connect after this. I need responses for the World Bank. I don't know if you have already. I tried my attempt at answering those questions. Would love to send an update today, as well as to kind of connect with you on this ITDM synthetic persona panel request for proposal from ERG. They're already a customer of ours. Just wanted to, as always, I can draft an initial answer and you can just review. I want to protect your time. But yeah, would be great to align on there. And then let's see what else. And then, yeah, Avi, I got your message. Happy to also spend some time. Let me get back to you as soon as I finish with Subodh. Happy to connect, and yeah, you tell me what it is that you know I can help with. Eh, that's it. Those are my go-tos for at least today. To get those across and make sure that we continue to push.
Okay, Pablo. For the World Bank, I'm writing the response now. You'll have it in half an hour. And
All right.
regarding the ERG, we'll catch up after this.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you.
Tatavik.
Hi everyone, happy Monday. For today, I want to finish the Databricks API calls for R. I started it on Friday, and I mentioned that it's already like runs the code faster from top to bottom. But now I notice it's not only fast; it returns all my calls when previously I had to add some wait times. So I'm gonna get rid of those wait times also. Yeah, I will finish this today and push it to dev on Rehoboam. That's my goal.
Is that with the latent variables? Still without. Okay.
No.
That's great though. That's great. How much faster?
Like 2.5 times faster on my
Wow.
local.
How much faster on the remote machine?
Same. I think it will
Same.
be same.
It should be same, right? Because it's an API call.
Yeah.
And so that goes down from what? From 3 minutes to 1 minute ballpark?
No, it was 5.5 to 6 minutes, so probably comes down to 2.5.
Wow.
Like the total R analytics time, it includes both estimation and for an average size experiment, it comes down to around 5.5, 6 minutes.
Wow.
So if Tatavik stuff comes down to 2.5 minutes, let's say Tatavik, our Python part we checked on an average, for an average experiment, it's around now 5.5, 6 minutes. So 8.5, 9 minutes from 18 minutes, 19 minutes, which is like the standard, which we had
And
before
with better
all the
models.
changes. And even in the Python, I'm still just using like 100 or 120 queries per second. We'll see with more if it stays, because I did notice if we go around to 210, then we get quite a bit of errors, and then basically you have to rerun them, and then together it comes down to same as running with like 60 or 80 threads. We'll see with more testing, we'll bug John again. So it will only get better, but 18 to 9 is still 50% reduction.
And is it right to assume that the analytics calls cannot be parallelized?
They are parallel now.
They are
Majority
parallelized.
of them.
Okay. And it still takes 3 minutes.
So, but the 1.5, 2 minutes is just a pure estimation.
Yeah, right. Nice job. That's amazing. Do we have an ETA on the latent variables?
By this weekend, it will be done both ways, like Python ways. I'm working on that to change the way we call them so that they can also be speed up. And then once by tomorrow I should be done, then I'll tell Tatavik additional step. It's not much on her side as well. She's already done half.
Amazing.
And then actually, if that happens, the overall time will come down because the last 3 tabs will be completely replaced with just one tab. So you will have way fewer calls and you will have also way fewer estimation. So we will not be then doing this per trait level estimation like gender male versus female. We will not be doing any of those estimations. It whatever latent class gives, that is it. So every estimation number of calls both will go down.
Very nice. Very nice work.
Thanks, Tata.
Thank you guys for your patience with Databricks.
And I don't know how to do this. I haven't read that in detail, but I was reading something on LinkedIn. I don't know. It means if, for example, he's saying that you take all the data, let's say, to create a prompt, and you pass the prompt to LLMs and pass them in JSON versus pass them in YAML. And same thing for return token. Instead of asking for JSON, ask in YAML. And he's saying that you save quite a bit on token, quite a bit. And just by putting into YAML, a lot of unnecessary things just goes away. Because I have got the repo, I'm going to see, because he says he has some functions to remove everything unnecessary, like punctuation and all that shit. So he was able to bring down like a token in the example code that the dude has shown. Like it comes from like 26,000 token to almost 1,500 tokens and exactly the same response.
Well,
So you save like 80% in token cost.
more than 80%.
I'll see how does that look. But yeah, something to play around.
Nice.
All right. Deepika.
Good morning. So, in morning I met Hadi and we decided some colors for the theme. For the concepts results page, and I'm working on that. And I've tried to change the UI for statement responses. So now it's all together, but I'm still working on that. So I put it all together, but it's I feel like I can still do improvement. So that's it from my side. I can show it on Wednesday, maybe after it's done.
Nice job, Deepika. Are
Thank you.
we including the concept testing in this release, or we're waiting for the next release?
It will be next release.
Next release.
Once both things are in sync, front end and back end, we'll need some testing.
Very nice.
Okay. Thanks, Deepika. Hadi.
Hello team, happy Monday. This week I will be working on unit tests across multiple repos that Avi assigned me today. There was like two bugs, one small bugs in the ideation today. I was working on that. And yeah, for the rest of the week, we'll be using task TUSK ASK. I think it's a bot for implementing unit test across multiple repos.
But
Beautiful.
how does that mean the state management thing is will be done by tomorrow?
No, today it's actually fixed. I think I need to check. There was one or two bug. It's fixed. I need to check.
I
And
mean, maybe before the unit test, if you do that, like because if we try and plan to put this thing to prod, then it will be nice if we can have persistence across pages, right? So let's not jump to other tasks. So maybe do this first.
yeah, that's for sure. Today it's done. Yeah. If yeah, today it's done.
Okay. So we can count for a demo on Wednesday, let's say, like for to see that it persists, everything, no unnecessary calls are being made if we change page and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, thanks. Anything else, Hardy?
No.
Okay, all right. Thanks. Marty?
All right. So, can you see me? Yes. Okay. Happy team, happy Monday. So, I have worked on two bags actually, which was not okay. So the bags was there was a bug in authentication, and also our Superbase tables were public and accessible via API. So, made that public, private, and uh, fixed the authentication issues in API, and looking forward to release because I checked the um, 1DB, all the experiments are fine, and waiting for Nihar with the chat uh, functionality and see how that goes.
And when do you think, Madi, we will do the release?
Well, let's have a one final answer for this. So
Okay.
also Nihar, because we discussed this, we were kind of ready, but uh, so I don't see any issue in backend. So except the chat agent, which was timing out, and Nihar supposed to work on that. I'm not sure how it goes. So I think it's a shared answer. So I would like to know Subodh's and Nihar answer of this.
I mean, we can we can put Nihar stuff in the next release if he's not ready. Oh, sorry.
I mean, like on the AI chat side, I'm not facing any issues, so I just don't know what timeout issues he's facing. So I need to double check of what does he mean by timeout.
I think it's the same thing, Nihar, that we saw Friday, right? Like for you, it was working. For me, sometime it wasn't working, and sometime the same experiment will work, right? So the behavior wasn't just consistent all the time in the AI chat. So we decided, right, we'll get rid of all the storing and calling through the web-based API, right? And create an endpoint and call everything internally through our fast API backend.
That's what I'm
I
working
think,
on, but like
yeah, so that's
still I'm
what
working.
yeah, yeah. So Mad is basically saying that when he mentioned AI chat, like if that thing you think will be ready, then we include that. Otherwise, we go ahead with what we have.
I'm still working on it. I'm just creating endpoints right now.
Okay.
Just trying to see how we can use just the screenshot of the browser base, and then you use the screenshot, plug it in S3, and then
Hmm.
move from there. Yeah.
Anything else, Marty?
No, not from myself.
Okay. I think
Wait,
you wanted to mention about the auth thing, right? Or maybe you forgot.
I added that.
Okay.
That's already in there.
when Marty, when are we gonna release? When do you think we'll be ready?
Um, so Nihar, I suppose that that agent takes a little bit of time, right?
Sorry.
Uh, the thing that you're working, I think it's
Mhm.
taking some time. Am I right?
Yeah, this will take some time because right now I'm getting caching issues. I'm not getting the exact experiment that I ran. I'm getting some different experiment from the screenshot. So I'm trying to solve that issue for the caching side.
See, I see. So then I see no issue. Then we can work on the release after stand-up.
Maybe after the stand-up we can have a call and then I'll show you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so the answer is you will probably know either tomorrow or Wednesday.
Okay, that's exciting, guys. It's exciting.
Okay. Nihar, you're up next.
Yeah, so as discussed, I'm still working on the AI chatbot right now. I'm facing a slight issue on the experiment side. Also, if you guys can check it on your side, is like if you ran an experiment and if you click Analysis Studio, is it giving you the expected answers for that particular experiment, or is it showing for some experiment that is not what you ran? So that is something that I would love to check from your side also, if that is the issue. If that issue is still there, that means there is a caching problem at the backend that needs to be resolved. Otherwise, the AI chatbot that I'm trying to work on will fail always. So that's the only thing that I'm working today. And mostly by today or tomorrow, I'll be able to complete it. And Wednesday, we'll be doing a demo for that thing.
This is Nihar getting the chat agent that we already had working, or is this a new chat agent?
Uh, this is something, let me share the screen. So you guys are able to see the screen. So if I try to open up, let's just say Analytics Studio, uh, so this will, let's just say,
That's the old chat.
open up an, oh, forget about that. I created a new studio,
Oh.
but let's just say this will open up a different experiment result. This is not for what I want. So this is something I'm trying to debug right now. It's like this is coming for some electrical vehicle attributes, and the experiment I ran was which user interface design increase sales conversion. So the expected results are not what I want. This is coming for
Oh, I
vehicle
see.
side thing.
I see.
And the other problem is, let's just say if I open up for what causes employees to change job or something, if I open up this one, this will always open to the experiment that I got right now on the previous screen. It
We have an off
is
by
coming to the
one
same
error.
experiment. Yeah, so one off by one, we are getting the same results. So if you guys are also getting this, that means we have caching issues in the database. That's why all the AI chats, like the AI agent, like whatever the chat that we are trying to run, it's gonna fail always because it's trying to take screenshots of the previous experiments. And that's why Subodh or Madi is getting the timeout errors.
Lovely.
So this is other than that, like, okay, we get the results, but not the expected results.
Right. That's gonna freak out some enterprise customers.
Oh, every one of them. Like, I just, like, it took a while for me to understand, like, okay, why am I getting the same results? Is like, and then I saw that, okay, the casual question was this. And I'm like, okay, this is not the experiment I ran.
Oh yeah.
And locally, I'm seeing that it's caching to some different experiment that was ran by somebody else. So this result was ran by somebody else. I'm getting the output for it. So this is also something that we have to figure out why this is going
Yikes.
on. Yeah, that's the debugging I'm working on. And
But
that's the
but
only.
but but this issue wasn't there like couple of till 2 or 3 days ago.
That's what I'm trying to do is like if I'm
Because
going back to the
it can't be backend because you pass the experiment ID and it gives you the JSON. So 1DB will give you the correct JSON. So it's something else is happening funky in the front end then.
So let me see. Look. Okay. Let's go back to some previous experiments I ran somewhere. Uh,
Well,
I'll
we
do
don't
the
have
analytics.
to debug now, but yeah, that is a new bug. You're right, Subodh. It's a bit of a regression. We'll figure it out. You know.
Somewhere something hard coded, somebody forgot to has probably made a hard coding mistake because now I open and I also see the same thing what you are saying in the analytics
Yep.
for page. So it's a front end issue. It's not a back end issue.
That's what I'm trying to debug right now on the front end is like when we create this run IDs or experiment IDs, is it falling back to some different static variables, but I don't see any static variables in the code base. I'm trying to see debug the logic is if we are doing the database calling from the back end to front end for the experiments of Analytics Studio, is the caching failing or is there some static variable during the caching process? So that's the debug I'm working on. Because AI chat that I'm working on, it is always giving the same response because it's trying to get the insights from the experiments that we are not trying to run.
Yeah, so it's always passing the same experiment ID.
Yes.
We're gonna know really well what causes people to buy electric cars. Everyone's gonna know that.
I think it's only happening during the call because at least when I see the experiments detail, the ID I do see different, at least in the tabs. So it's only happening somewhere during the call.
Also, can you check the LLM traces? Are they coming not found for you for every experiments that you ran?
I have not run anything recent. Has anyone run
Okay.
something recent? Till some days ago, we had Langsmith. It wasn't active, so we wouldn't have seen any trace. But now it's active. So, but no, you won't see. You won't see because the way we have changed the new code, we'll have to work on Langsmith. For now, we have just merged, so you won't see. It's fine. We'll work on that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's completely intentional for now. LLM traces, don't worry.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Yeah, that's my update. And yeah, trying to debug that, resolve it, and then probably we'll have a workaround with the browser AI and screenshot that.
But this is still the old chat, right?
Yeah, the chat is old.
The chat's the old one.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Cool.
I think Pragna can't hear us for now, so it's you, Avi.
You know, I spent the weekend really wanting to understand, like, I, I keep seeing these. I keep going on social media, which is like mistake number one. Anyway, last week I went to this Peace Tech event. I met a bunch of investors. Some people are labeling us Peace Tech, which is like not the moneymaker. I hear investors a lot of the times say, you know, the more this isn't exactly the phrase, but the sentiment is like, you know, the more a company focuses on doing good, the less of a good investment they are, which is kind of sad. So I'm not like, I don't think we should sell to the Peace Tech market. I don't think there's a lot there, but I don't think there's a lot of interest there from investors. But I met a bunch of people, and we'll see how it goes. But I keep going on social media, and I keep seeing people saying, oh, if you use AI, then, you know, you'll be 10x as productive. 10x, 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 right? Which is just like, I don't know. I don't really see it. I think if you're a good engineer, I don't know that you'll be 10x more productive. I think if you don't know how to code, you'll be 10x productive, but like 10x more than zero is like still zero, right? But what I am discovering is there are a handful of agents that help with like kind of the scut work of developing, you know, like, you know, CI/CD and unit tests and action tests and like things that prevent regressions and all of that. And so I spent some time, you know, creating workflows and actions and all that, and then I realized I was just distracting myself. So I stopped and I said, Hadi, can you please pick this up for me? That being said, like, I do have a nice workflow now where, like, on Linear, I can make a task on Linear and I can say do this, and it automatically goes to GitHub. It automatically gets picked up by an agent. It automatically gets coded. The tests automatically get generated. It, like, you know, and then it automatically gets pushed. So all you do is you make a task on Linear, and then 20 minutes later, like, you get the feature. As long as the thing you're asking to do is like brain dead simple, it can kind of do it. I do like the automated testing, which seems to work pretty well. I do like the CI/CD. I do like the Vercel environments. If we could move everything to Vercel, that would be lovely. But for like really, really simple tasks, it seems to work. I don't know. I think it's nice to have that workflow set up so that when the tools eventually improve in a year, 2 years, 3 years, we'll have that discipline. So I asked Hadi to validate what I'm doing. So that's one thing. And then the second thing, the most important thing, is I'm going to stop coding completely because I think I've learned everything I need to know. And then exclusively focusing on the fundraising. And so I set up, this is actually something that's kind of cool. I set up ChatGPT to, like, give it HubSpot and my email and my calendar and I gave it all my stuff. And then I spent Sunday kind of building this effectively like a personal assistant on ChatGPT. And that seems to work really well. Read my emails, draft my emails, you know, like, what should I be doing? All that stuff. It seems to be like a nice little helper. It can even interact with Finta and change the status of things. So the scut work in fundraising of like keeping a CRM up to date seems to work well. So that's a nice workflow. I also cleared my calendar. If you see, guys, I've been canceling meetings. I've been cutting meetings from my calendar to create space for the investor meetings. So I've been doing that. I met with First Mark. I met with the Two Sigma. There's going to be a bunch of other meetings this week. I'm in the city Wednesday and Thursday if anybody wants to join. And that's it. And I'm here being a cheerleader. And I feel really optimistic. I really do. It feels really nice. We're already getting traction from CDL and EFL. I do, as a blocker, I do need help. Tatevik, Subod, Pablo, I do need help going through the mentors so that we can pick some good people for both programs. Nihar, I would love some help with Antler, and then we also were invited to apply to the Andreessen Horowitz speed run again by Troy. So the deadline for that is Sunday, so I'll be working on that as well.
I think we have a meeting scheduled for Canada one for tomorrow, so I think we have to go through anyway. Pragna, can you hear us now? I think so.
Yeah, I could
Yeah.
hear all along, though. I don't know why it said that, but um, yeah, I think earlier in the day, Hadi told me that there were like a couple of minor fixes, so I'm gonna help him with that. And then after that, I think so both you mentioned
Mm,
um that I need to look into maybe coming up with some designs and user flows for the attribute page.
mm.
Is it possible that like we can have a quick like one-on-one
Sure.
so I can
Yeah.
understand more like what you have in mind and like
Hmm.
what is the scope that I can change? Yeah, can you let me know when you're free?
Sure.
After the call will be fine too. Okay. So, yeah, what I'll be doing this week is like fixing that on priority, and then I'm gonna take the week to like come up with some designs for the attribute page.
This is for the single page version where we have the whole.
Now this is still the current flow, but
Oh,
the current flow, at least in the attribute page, right? Like once you are 3 or 4, you need to scroll down and see it. It's very clunky. So I was hoping we can basically have like this collapsible way of showing the labels. So you can still see like 8, 10, I don't know, 15 attributes without scrolling down. And if you want to read in detail, just expand and read. So a bit more user friendly. And then there are some checks, which is as soon as you select more than it just starts saying, oh, you can't do that and all. That should always come like once you click the next button to go to next page and all. So
is
minor one, but yeah.
is this? I love it. I love it. I love it. Is this related to the DOM work that Hadi was doing?
The DOM work.
He was making sure that like that the browser had uh, a copy of effectively the experiment design as you're going back and forth. I think he was using Zod or something, some state manager or
Oh
Zustand or
yeah,
something.
taste. Yeah. So Pragna and Hadi, they have been working. So that's what Pragna was saying, right? They found some error in the very first step itself. So she'll be fixing those. And once the whole thing is done, then move on to the attributes one.
And this is via Zustand. This is getting all of the objects
Hmm.
into Zustand so that when we do move to the one page
Mm.
version, it's easier.
I don't know because Hadi said we may have to redo everything if we move to one page. I didn't ask much in detail, but it did tell me that. So for now, we'll just live with what we have.
Okay.
Because that one pager is going to be tricky a bit. Like the moment you go back and change the question, like then the attribute endpoint needs to be called.
No, I know.
So
That's yes, agreed.
so
There are edge cases.
so hopefully we have the new attributes endpoint come down to 30 second at best, and then automatically it recognizes oh there is a prompt change and it just calls internally.
Nice.
So we'll do that probably once we have a stable version of what we have now with more like reduced computation time.
Yes, sir. Well, guys, this is exciting. The sprint ends Friday, and then on Monday we have another sprint planning. So that's great. If we can get this dev to prod in whatever state, I think it would be nice to start thinking about. And this is we gotta talk to Michelle and some of our other customers, but how we get Subconscious integrated with existing customer flows, right? How do we cleanly ingest data from HubSpot or from Salesforce or from Amplitude? How do we ingest images once we get the once we get the concept testing, how do we ingest images from Figma or from Adobe, right? Getting all these integrations done on the design side, and then getting all the integrations done after we end up with the results. Do we start generating assets? Do we integrate with Facebook? Do we integrate with Google? Do we integrate with some of those other systems? I would love, before Friday or before next week, for the biz dev team to start thinking about which integrations we should prioritize, specifically for enterprise clients. Databricks as an example. But that's great progress, everybody. Really good progress.
All right. I think mine. So yeah, today I was working on the look across part.
Sorry.
Yeah, and I have to test the new attributes endpoint. I need 2-3 hours. Hopefully, I have it tomorrow. If not, then Wednesday, because I need to still do some more because they have shared some more data. But in a way, it's a good test case. We can probably show as a case study. This is really like taking one individual and crafting the best possible email we can craft for that individual so that he or she responds given a context. In their context, one was related to data breach, another one is related to like offerings for AI and ML infrastructure scale up and everything. So far, they seems very happy. I'm surprised. So they have shared some more context around companies and everything. So we'll integrate that and see how the numbers change. But yeah, that's why, and that's that. Through that, I found that Grow is pretty good at figuring out quite a few things which Claude and GPT requires a lot of iterations, because it can search on Twitter, some good actual academic paper. It gives things very fast and really good ones. So see how if we can have initial setup of Grow. My guess is Grow might be able to generate much more meaningful latent variables than Claude, actually.
Yes, sir.
So we'll see how that looks.
Interesting.
And then within that process, we basically need to now write the functions, which is like, okay, so if you know somebody works in a certain company, then go fetch as much information as you can regarding that company in whatever context that somebody is trying to capture their attention to. So I found some nice YouTube videos, and you can integrate basically Grok, Google, and everything, and search through literally anything and everything and get a very comprehensive knowledge information about anything. So I'll implement that and see how good or bad that is doing. So that is that way we can then inject real-time information even in discrete choice experiments, given whatever the context we have.
And is your plan to eventually build these really rich profiles of individuals and then store them so we develop these populations?
Yeah, and this is also something Pablo was telling earlier, right? So we have gotten a proposal, and basically we'll have to say that we can do all these things. So it will be nice that we already have a small way of doing it. And on the LinkedIn, like even today, I tested for 30 personas, and when I do in a batch of 3 to 4, like everything works, no API limit, anything I hit, and it's like really cheap. So for 30 persona, tell you how much it costs me. Give me a moment. I think it's less than $1.
For Grok and LinkedIn and whatever?
No, just LinkedIn. If I get 30 personas, done. Yeah, it's like $1 for 30. So I get everything about their profile, and then I get their 5 recent posts, either posted or liked or reshared, whatever it is.
That's huge. We have a
And,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
and then there is a couple of other services, Bright Store and all. We can use that, and then this LinkedIn API can run under that, and then they help you with all the API limit, in a sense that, oh, we are hitting, and it's, let's say, coming from one service, you get error, they switch internally, you pay like $20-30 a month. So looks like by combining those two, we'll be able to handle quite a bit.
I love that. And then all of those lists that we have where it's like, you know, investors, researchers, uh, board members, congressmen, we can then systematically create populations with them, of
Yeah.
them. That's huge.
If once we'll be able to scrape from like even Twitter and all through Grok, which that video showed, so then we can see if that investor has made some like an investment here and there from different sources, if we can get that knowledge. So the point will be, we'll be able to get whatever we can by scraping data.
And how do we and then we have that persona, and then we take that persona and build the latent variables on that persona. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's great. That's great.
So